The vast expanse of Eastern Europe was once home to scattered Slavic tribes. These communities, bound by language and tradition, laid the groundwork for a powerful empire. In the 9th century, a Viking leader named Rurik established rule in Novgorod. This event is often considered the starting point of Russian statehood. Rurik's successor, Oleg, moved the capital south to Kiev, strategically positioned on the Dnieper River trade route. This marked the birth of Kievan Rus', a prosperous state that flourished through trade with Byzantium and the East. Under Vladimir the Great, Kievan Rus' adopted Orthodox Christianity in 988. This decision had a profound impact on Russian culture, shaping its art, architecture, and spiritual life for centuries to come. Kievan Rus' reached its zenith under Yaroslav the Wise from 1019 to 1054. Yaroslav, a renowned lawmaker and patron of learning, oversaw a period of peace and prosperity. He commissioned the magnificent St. Sophia Cathedral in Kyiv, a testament to the cultural blossoming of the time. Yet internal divisions and external pressures eventually weakened Kievan Rus'. By the 12th century, the once mighty state had fragmented into competing principalities. The 13th century brought a new threat to the fragmented lands of the former Kievan Rus', the Mongol Empire. Led by Batu Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan, the Mongols swept across the steppes, conquering and devastating everything in their path. By 1240, most of the Russian principalities lay in ruins, subject to the Mongol Golden Horde. The Mongol invasion had a profound impact on Russian history. The Mongols imposed a system of tribute and indirect rule, leaving Russian princes in place but demanding absolute obedience. This period of Mongol domination, known as the Tatar Yoke, lasted for over 2 centuries. Despite the hardships, Russian culture and identity endured. The city of Moscow emerged as a new center of power, skillfully navigating Mongol rule and gradually consolidating surrounding principalities under its control. Under the leadership of Ivan III from 1462 to 1505, Moscow threw off the shackles of Mongol rule. Ivan, known as the Great, declared himself Tsar, a title derived from the Roman Caesar, signifying a new era for Russia. He expanded Muscovy's territory and laid the foundations for a centralized Russian state. Ivan IV, later known as Ivan the Terrible, from 1533 to 1584, continued the expansionist policies of his grandfather. Ivan's reign was marked by both territorial gains and internal repression. He established a system of secret police known as the Oprichnina, which terrorized the boyars, the noble families, and consolidated his absolute power. Peter the Great, from 1682 to 1725, ushered in an era of modernization and westernization. Determined to transform Russia into a European power, Peter embarked on a series of reforms, reorganizing the army, building a navy, and introducing Western customs and technology. He founded the city of St. Petersburg in 1703, a window to the west that became Russia's new capital and a symbol of Peter's ambition. Section 4. Trials and Triumphs, Napoleonic Wars, and the Path to Revolution. The 19th century saw Russia embroiled in numerous conflicts, including the Napoleonic Wars. Napoleon Bonaparte's invasion of Russia in 1812 proved to be a turning point. Despite initial victories, Napoleon's Grande Armée was decimated by their harsh Russian winter and scorched earth tactics. The Russian victory over Napoleon cemented its status as a major European power. However, beneath the veneer of military success, social tensions simmered. The vast majority of Russians were serfs, tied to the land and subject to the whims of their landlords. Calls for reform grew louder, fueled by the ideas of the Enlightenment and the example of revolutions in Europe. Section 5. Revolution and Rebirth, the Soviet Era and its Aftermath. The year 1917 marked a watershed moment in Russian history. World War I exacerbated existing social and economic problems, culminating in the February Revolution. The Tsar abdicated and a provisional government was established, but it proved unable to address the country's deep-seated issues. In October 1917, the Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin, seized power in a second revolution. They promised peace, land and bread to the war-weary and impoverished masses. The Bolsheviks signed a peace treaty with Germany, ending Russia's involvement in World War I. A brutal civil war ensued, pitting the Bolsheviks against various anti-communist forces. The Bolsheviks emerged victorious, consolidating their power and establishing the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, or USSR, in 1922. Under Joseph Stalin, who succeeded Lenin in 1924, the USSR underwent a period of rapid industrialization and collectivization of agriculture. Stalin's rule was marked by terror, repression, and the deaths of millions of his own people. The Soviet Union played a pivotal role in World War II, defeating Nazi Germany at a tremendous cost. The post-war era saw the USSR emerge as a superpower, locked in a Cold War rivalry with the United States. However, by the 1980s, the Soviet system, burdened by economic stagnation and political repression, began to unravel. In 1991, the Soviet Union dissolved, marking the end of an empire and the beginning of a new chapter in Russian history.